Yeah.
All right, we start from the top. So we've been doing some soul searching. I've been aligning with my Cancer friend right here. I'll let you do the introductions first.
What's up, you guys? My name is Courage from Altruistic Vision. It's awesome to be here today with you, Terrence.
Thank you. Thank you. You heard? So the goal of today is for us to find out more about Courage, find out more about ourselves at the same time. That's what this platform is about. It's about helping underground, undervalued, underrated artists find genuine space, be their consistent selves, and also become determined in their mindset about being profitable. I use those words that surgically because it's important to be in this music business as your authentic self. And you can't be out here broke joking it. You can't, you know what I mean? It's real money got to get invested in these things, and you want to be able to provide for your life. So where can people support you? What do you find as the highest means of support in your journey right now?
For me, definitely like emotional support, like as an artist, definitely, because I am, like you said, I'm a Cancer, so I definitely talk myself out of things. Like I talk myself out of a lot of things, or like I'll let my anxiety get in the way or something like crazy like that. I'll be freaking out, like internally and externally, and like a lot of times, like at least like right now, I have a strong support system that kind of like acknowledges that, and it's just like, just calm down, just take a breath, like you got this. And you know, that's why I really love like my collective, Altruistic Vision, being a part of that collective, because that's like the type of support that they give, and I like that helped me acknowledge what type of support I want as an artist, like not just from my in-house rooted circle, but from like, you know, outside connections as well.
You made me want to ask a question. We was talking about support systems before all this started, and so I know I can have a tendency of feeling like I don't got a support system. How would you discern for yourself, or even give me maybe some advice on like how to discern what is a support system that you can appreciate, and then what is you maybe not being appreciative of like your support system? Like how do you discern the difference? Like, cause sometimes we be having people in our corner and we just be overlooking them.
Facts, and it's just like, and sometimes because you like get lost in your own sauce, it's like really hard to actually kind of like depict that.
Team and shit.
Yeah. So if you want me to be honest, for me at least, like where I'm at in my life right now, I don't look at if people are physically there.
Okay.
I look at people are there emotionally, like spiritually, even mentally, like the bond. I'm looking more at bonds at this point than I am like your physical presence, because I have even a support system like whereas like they live in different states and they're like, oh hey, I downloaded Loom, or reaching out like, hey, like I just wanted to let you know, like I know I can't come to this show, but I want you to know, like
even
I'm
just
proud
letting
of you.
You know,
And it's like, and it's the same, like even like I said, even with Altruistic Vision, because I only knew Altruistic Vision through Charisma. So I own, like, Charisma is my best friend in 20 years. Word. So, like, that bond is there, that bond is solidified. Yeah. But, you know, coming into a collective where they were all so rooted together, and, like, they all had years and years of experience together and years of friendships formulated, you can imagine that's, like, a little intimidating, like, stepping into the scene, like, at the end, frankly, an outsider. And, you know, even when I first started with Altruistic Vision, I was like curious as to like, how can I like trust that these people got my back? And in that moment, I told myself, don't judge, don't anticipate, don't expect anything, because when you expect things, you don't give the other person a real chance.
No, right.
Because you don't know how they're gonna react. Because at the end of the day, you don't know that person. And so I went into this very open-minded, which was honestly the opposite of how I was. Like I was very, very like secure within myself. Like I didn't trust anyone, like especially like my support system, because I was focused on the physical aspect. Like you're not physically here. Like
you're not. Party.
Yeah, like I called you and you didn't answer, or I texted you, or like I felt like I couldn't call you, and it's like. I realized, like, even, like, within these past, like, few weeks, but especially within this past year, of working with people like Tim and Kate and Sykes and Charisma and seeing how time does not matter, but having the same goals, the same ambitions, the same fire, the same values, the same morals. Because let's face it, all of us, we have our own different like mindsets, we have our own different ways of life, and things like that. But we don't let that affect the bonds that we're sharing and the bonds that we're forming.
And that's what I noticed when you first started saying this. It was like, you know, at first it was hard for you to accept and come into it, but it sounded like you met them having mutual values, but that shit was just shocking to like to receive and reflect on that. Like, damn, is it really? Because
personally,
can I touch it? Is it really there? Yeah,
like personally, I had charisma. Personally, I had charisma, and my other brother, like Jawan, and my family, my brother Jaden, like I had my rooted circle, but I didn't like really know, like even in the midst of that support, it was like I still felt like alone sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Because it's like, okay, what about like if I stepped outside of my rooted circle, would I be okay? Like, would I really be able to truly accept support, or would I be questioning it all the time? Would it be like, oh wait, do you really support me, or are you just supporting me for this reason?
Yeah.
But that's what I realized, even especially now, like within the past few months, it's like I can't think like that for myself, because it will mess me up. It will make me paranoid. Yeah. It'll make me not trust anyone, and it will make me closed off. So
and you're speaking like, my language right now, and it's like as I'm listening to you talk, I'm going through my mind while listening, and I'm like, there's not another show. I have not watched no show where people providing me this, like this level of introspection and vulnerability that you're giving. I've never heard anybody who's aspiring to do things be this honest. And it's making me even want to be more honest with myself when you saying this, because it's like, I be having some self-doubt too. Yeah, but it's like no one wants to be responsible for that. Even yourself, sometimes you don't want to be responsible for your own self-doubt, because it's encumbering, and it can be like, it can be disastrous if you think on it too much, right?
And
so
it's easy to put it on someone else, but it's like it is like, because I'm one of those. I'm not gonna front. I'm like, well, no, it's because of you.
It's because of you. Yeah.
But in all reality, it
could be because of us. Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
And sometimes it is just because of me, because like of how I grew up, or how I came about in my life experiences. So I would definitely say, focus on the bonds, no matter as far as time, no matter how big or small, because I've only known Tim for a year. It literally just hit a year, and legitimately look at our relationship. And that, exactly, and all of us even. So it was like, exactly, that was a fast year. And even down to Kate, and like everybody.
That shit was COVID and all that. The fungus was among us. Like
365 days, all this happened. It's like a lot of stuff even around us caused all of us to come together. I was going to say, even you and I, and like me and Jazz, it's like meeting all the different people. Whereas like I'm somebody that's not particularly cool to strangers. It's like I'm like but at this, like I'm very like, hi, how are you?
And then just keep it moving.
Hello, it's nice to meet you. But when it comes down to actually getting to the nitty gritty, like who Courage is, and actually getting to know me as a person, it's like, okay, please fill out this 200-page application, and like it's kind of like that. And it's like I'm trying to like minimize the pages a little bit. I'm at about 150 now.
Right. That's a whole 25%. Don't lack. Don't criticize. Like that's real work done right there.
I was gonna say,
that's a whole quarter of the work done. So no, I commend that shit. So, I think that like what I'm learning from what you're saying is that self-awareness really can just go a long way in, like you said, being more accountable and more mindful of what emotional space that you want to be in. So what's one thing that you want to teach people with your journey, like the things that you've done and the things that you're talking about? If you can advocate for something in your career or your journey, what would it be? Like, what do you want people to take away from your life?
I would have to say, no matter how much you think you don't make an impact, you make an impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never heard of that one before. Come on, you gotta expound on that one. I ain't never heard that one before. Come on.
Like I was maybe like a year ago. I'll just start saying a year ago. I was sitting actually right here actually for the same experience with actually with Jazz and Bria, and me and Charisma literally only went there just to be there, just to be a part of the events, get out of the house, do something different. And they had an open mic portion of the event, and they're like, so you're gonna go sing, right? You're gonna sing, right? Because we keep hearing you can sing, but you won't perform yet. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to. And then like Charisma was like, just go ahead. And so I went up there and I performed. And then someone walked up to me, and they said, I just want to thank you. Damn. And I was like, what? They said, yes. She's like, you're a beautiful singer, but it was Set Me Free. Check it out on Loom. You know, I had to plug myself real quick. Check it out on Loom real quick. But it was my song Set Me Free, and she said thank you, because I actually really relate to your story, and that really touched me, and like I needed to hear that. And she's like, I didn't even know I needed to hear that.
Right, you like him.
And I was just sitting there. That's the best one. Yes, and I was just sitting there so overwhelmed, and like I didn't know what to say. I was just like, thank you so much.
Yeah,
like,
the first time you even experienced that much gratitude, you like, what do I do with this?
Facts. It's just like and here in all reality, I'm sitting here terrified, shaking in my boots, because I'm sharing a story I've never shared with really but a handful of people before, and it's kind of been like that ever since. Like I just keep meeting people, like as I'm doing new music or performing more, or honestly even just going out and networking and just talking to people. They just keep on saying like, I just like really appreciate your energy, and like I appreciate what you put out into the world, because for me as a person, I just want to spread positivity and spread goodness, because I feel like the world is a very angry place. So if there's one less angry person in the world, I feel like that would just help the world a lot more and make it a little bit more easier, because like that's just how I am as a person. I want to touch people and move people in a way where they want to live their lives that way. But without me being like, you should be a good person. Like, you should go this.
Finger waves.
You need to be this to be a good person. Like, no, it's not that at all. It's just more so like better for yourself, not better for people, but better for yourself. Because that's what my journey is about. When I started, that's why I named myself Courage. Because for me as a person, that was what I was lacking least as a person. Like, bubbly, charismatic, fun, but no courage whatsoever for myself. Like, I'll stand up for somebody and I'll have courage for somebody else.
You need to get your shit, it would be like,
like a little turtle and be like, back in my shell, like, no, I'm sorry.
Crab, right?
But then like somebody come and try and mess with the squat, like, what?
Is out.
What's going on? No, what up? And like, I had to learn to apply that same energy to myself, and to see that and to feel that and to see that my journey doing that in and of itself is embracing other people to be courageous for themselves, for me is rewarding in and of itself. And like I tell people that all the time, I'm like, listen, if that is something you genuinely want to do, you feel it in your gut, they're in your mind. Because I always say that if your mind, your heart, and your gut, and your soul ain't aligned, like I don't think I don't think you're ready to make that move, because you're not aligned with yourself. And it's like that. I feel like that's what's important for me as an artist, and to share that with the world, that you can make an impact just by legitimately looking at yourself and just working on yourself and trying to be the best version of yourself. And that's scary. 95% of the time it is scary. It is, and 5% of the time
you see it, right?
Yeah. So be impactful. Save money. Live better. No, I'm kidding.
Right. Vote for courage.
Vote for courage today.
Let me check and make sure everything's running correctly, because